We got it. We can do it.
It's gonna be
okay. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dance Talk Realness, a podcast where we discuss all nuances concerning education and dance, because the dance experience is an experience worth talking about. I'm your host, Truly B. I'm here with my awesome, as always, co-host, Daryl P. Hey. And we are joined yet again by the lovely Miss Ariana Matthews. Yes.
Hello.
Welcome back. So today, Ariana's going to be doing our mini segment. We not messy. We just saying. And full disclaimers, again, we do try to protect the innocent, and I don't be trying to get people fired because I don't work for a school system anymore. However, most of my friends do. So if there are things left out, it'll be fine because we're not trying to be messy.
We're just saying.
Yeah. Right. All right, so let's hop right into it. So what is your fun time story time for us, Ariana?
Okay, so I think I'm going to start with this college one. This is like two kind of put into one, but of course, being a dance major at a PWI, which if you don't know is a predominantly white institute. So I've said where I went before, so I'm not going to touch on that again. There were not many of us in one class, let alone in the program itself. So I would say like it was myself and I consider them my best friends, two of my best friends, both of us pretty, similar in structure, height, ability, all this stuff. We did everything together, whether we're standing at the bar, going across the floor, like doing small group stuff, what you have it. We were in our 10 a.m. modern rotation one day, and we had a professor who, God bless him, just loved musical theater, jazz, but it was modern. Okay. So why are we doing stuff across the floor to Billy Joel and theme songs from Cats? And, it's fine. Cool. No judgment. So we are just going across the floor. Start doing absolutely last because it was like there's no point going first. Like he's really not even paying attention to us because he's been slick in the past. We go across the floor, and all of a sudden he pauses the music and goes, "You three," like with all three fingers, "bring it back," and calls us across the room, and is like, "The three of you have something that everyone else doesn't have in this room." And we looked around like, okay, what in the world is that? You are the three best jumpers. And I know that you can get much higher than you just did going across the floor. And we're like shook. What do you mean? Like, what do we have? Can you just like flat out say it? 'Cause we're just super, super confused. And he would always kind of like pick around the topic. Like, of course, we knew what it was, but then we were always the kind of like the models for jumping and things. So that was one thing that kind of caught us off guard. And then we had another professor who just, again, casual, like little microaggressions, little remarks. We'd be sitting in the hallway, all of us again, just hanging out, having a snack, and he'd walk through. "Oh, what's this? A Soul Train line?"
Wait.
And I kid you not. And we would just sit and like, what did you just say? Like, why are you guys beating around the bush and saying all these things? Like, just say what you want to say. We're all adults. And like, I could text them right now and they'd probably have a million stories of their own. But it was those two little things that were like, okay, maybe this program is not for us. Yeah. Like, started flying under the radar a whole lot more. Didn't really give our props like after the fact because there was just some shade being thrown. And I'm like, I would never, ever, as a teacher or professor, say anything like that. And it's just like, we were borderline offended. wanting to go to someone, higher up. Like, why are we being called out all the time and in these ways that are not professional? So I think I'm trying to think of some more, but those are probably my two biggest things. And like, I know that I definitely cannot and will not be an educator that does and says things like that because it is all the way messy. And I hope that no one else has to ever like endure that, be it at my respective alma mater, at my current school where I'll be, or anything of that nature. But just like looking back, I'm like, wow, like that really happened and like made me feel a way about who I am as a dancer and as a freaking Black woman. That y'all are so casual.
Like I'm just thinking about the pure audacity
Among other things.
Like you just think that's a way to start a conversation. That's just a thing you just say to somebody.
That was the conversation. That was it.
So it's and I know looking back, there are probably things that you're like, oh, I could have done this. I could have said this. And it always sucks when you have to like look back and it's like, dang, I should have said this. But it's like in that moment, I think a lot of the times it's just the shock.
The shock. Yeah, I was gonna say you're just so startled by what you just heard. It's like you can't form sentences.
No, nothing. Like when I said we were just sitting there casual, it was like between classes, like I said, having a snack, had just, changed clothes, gone to see the trainer. And, oh, what's this assault? Like the, peace fingers and all. What's this assault train line? We were like, oh my God.
It's like, well, first of all, out of pocket. Second of all, have you never watched Soul Train? Because what I can tell you they don't do is just be sitting and chilling.
They're not just sitting. We're sitting on the floor. Right. We're sitting on the floor outside the studio. By no means are we standing. Are we even doing some type of movement, like just minding our business? And like it not good.
It's like tomfoolery. Like I don't and you would hope that would not still be occurring today. I mean, we all know it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
We know it is.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, at what point will people not do that?
I'm glad that we haven't seen it, or I'll speak for myself. I haven't seen it just because of this whole pandemic situation. But just with the way that everything is going, I feel like it's about to jump right back up and start happening all over. And we are going to hear things and see things. And that is stressful.
Yeah. But on a positive, and we'll circle back to the tomfoolery that is this. Yes, upgrade position. So,
thank you.
Take a moment, shout yourself out, share the great things or all the things that you can share.
Okay, no, I can. So it's actually funny. I'll give like a quick version. So I had actually just accepted a full-time position at the middle school that I was at. I was, all excited. Yay, one place, blah, blah, blah. Had posted about it, let my coordinator know all this. Then maybe like 3 days after, I get a call from my dance teacher. So I'm stepping down or actually moving up. Like I want to be an administrator and I just want you to take that into consideration. And I'm like, girl, didn't you see me just accept a job? Yes. And like, whatever. So I'm running and telling my principal, I'm like, hey, I got, this is essentially my dream job. Like I went to this high school. If it wasn't for this high school, I wouldn't be Miss Matthews and like who I am now. So I'm like, I got an opportunity to interview and apply for my dream job. I'm going to do it. Like it's close to home, blah, blah, blah. Within about a 2-week span, I had, what's the word? Like rescinded or reversed an offer from HR for the middle school that I was at, redid my resume, submitted an application, had an interview, got my tenure, and did something else within 2 weeks to now get this job as the dance company director and dance teacher at Southern High School.
Yes.
I am so excited. And just like before this, I was working and kind of like choreographing, doing some things, but so incredibly excited to be back home and just kind of really pour back into the community that, again, made me who I am and like paved the way. So super excited to get started and get my kids out and involved and just lots of good things.
Oh, I'm so excited and hilariously, when I saw that post, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, am I tripping? I was like, I thought she took maybe not. No.
It was, oh my God, it was so weird. Like I posted it and then like got the Southern job, took it down. Then I went to like a going away party with some teachers from Southern, and they thought that I just posted about the previous job, like as a cover. They were like, so did you lie? Did you ever actually get the job at the middle school? And I was like,
I did.
I did, but I just wanted to like cover my behind and not be all weird and stuff. But it was a crazy, emotional, and exciting 2 weeks of that whole process that I hope is like some of the best years of my life coming up right now. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm always a fan of high school teaching.
I'm so excited.
Minus the trash parts, which you get trash no matter where you're at. Like it happens. Like there's always going to be something. Because I'm like, I teach whole supposed adults and there's always something.
Literally.
But I think when you know the level that is like really your pocket to be in and you're able to really get in there, and especially when it's somewhere that you're like, okay, well, this is the place that helped make me who I am. And now I get to step into this role and hopefully start doing the same thing for this next generation coming up. It's like, how do you not take that position?
I would have like been absolutely crazy if I had not even gone after it. And it was like, thank goodness that I was still in such a, I guess, kind of like beginning phase position of the offer with the other one that I could quickly say like, hey, let's pause for a second and then go back. Because if I had
psych, just kidding. I was like, wait a minute.
It would have been a storm if I don't know. So it just all worked out. Like so blessed to have it. And like I said, just completely looking forward to everything that'll come with it in a couple days, couple weeks.
Yeah, I was like, it's gonna be pretty soon. That thing is coming up. We are in August, which is amazing.
Don't remind me.
It's like,
Jesus.
Not
ready.
Where's my summer?
It's summer gone.
Like all the way gone. I'm just like, oh, so work. I got whole planning. I need to build out my course in Blackboard, syllabi. I was supposed to have been written. It's so much. I'm like, some classes start this month.
3 weeks.
I'm like, I need to get that together.
3 weeks class.
But I will say similar and very much supportive of your point is that, but I'm somewhere that I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Like, I'm excited. Am not a graduate of who we say at all, but I've always wanted to be at a HBCU. And so it's like,
love that.
And so I'm like, okay, so we're still pushing. I have plans. And some of the students who have been in touch with me over the summer, like they're excited.
Amazing.
I'm maybe hitting you up for some things. Are you going to have a performance company?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna be hitting you up for some things. Just put that in the atmosphere now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's collab, and like I'm trying to do it all. Like we are building.
Mm-hmm.
Building
Yes.
a goal for everybody.
Yeah, facts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's again that what you said about being able to give back and be able to pour back into. I think that is it's just so just fulfilling. Like there's another word that I'm pretty sure I want to use and I can't pull it right now, but it's just like just knowing that's like, okay, this is where we get to hit the ground. Like this is where everything's really about to go down.
Yep.
And come hell or high water, this thing about to do what it do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is all of us for sure. We deserve it.
Facts.
Yes, very much.
Like for sure.
Okay, so will y'all also be going back full time into the building?
That's what we've been told, but I actually went up to the school today just to like check on some stuff, and one of my secretaries said she heard that we may start virtual.
I don't want that to be my testimony.
I don't want that to be my testimony either.
I could have fell out in that floor.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. Send me back. I'll wear the mask all day. Like we were prepared to put the mask on. Like I bought new mask. I'm like running and dancing with it on, trying to get myself in shape again. But I won't do virtual. So I don't know about PGCPS, but it's up in the air for ACPS right now.
Wow. No, well, they haven't said anything, and nobody is. Well, we have some tomfoolery going on in PGCPS right now.
Yes.
that is newsworthy. So a lot of things are in limbo. It feels like over here, but
okay.
But yeah, no, they sent out a bunch of stuff to, or at least at my school, they sent out a bunch of stuff to kids talking about, these are the uniforms that you need to make sure you purchase. So, saying, which says to me, obviously, that we'll be in person.
You're going
and
back.
our CEO was on the news basically saying, our number one things is mask and mask for the fall. So to me, that sounds like we're going back. So yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be totally offended. I would be semi-offended, but I wouldn't be totally offended if they did that hybrid situation to start and then went full. Like if we had to do something, I'm like, okay, I could tolerate my kid goes for a part of the week and the other part that they stay home. I'm like, I can deal with that. And then transition into being there full time. Because I know in one of the mom groups I'm in, which is hilarious, I feel like a little old lady when I say that. One of the mom groups I'm in, like they're like someone brought up. I am now. It's so fun because they are messy. That made me funny up in there, and I'm just like, I just be listening. Like, they be telling all the business. It is wild. But like people were talking about like, okay, so in January, like after the Christmas break, y'all gonna shut it down again? Because people travel. And it's like, okay, there has to be a way. And I think the hybrid situation is in theory, better option.
Better.
Or if you did like, okay, well, maybe the first 2 weeks back and then shift. But I'm like, I don't want to do virtual though. Bowie State, we gonna be on campus.
I just say, bring them back. Just bring them back. Like, what's the whole point of going this back and forth? Just bring them back, and let's the things that we had in place in the spring. Those just need to be the same kind of protocols that are in place. If somebody gets sick, there's that contact tracing. You had all this stuff set up, and you really have tried. I will say the one good thing is that the plans have always been, it seems like, shaped to to eventually come back with some of these protocols. So just put them in place. Like, I would be really pissed if I am an administrator and sat in a room and have made these plans and have racked my brains for months for y'all to just be like,
forget it.
Forget it. Thanks a lot for your suggestions and all the planning you took to like try to get us here. We just gonna go back to this because this is just easier.
That is very true. Yeah.
Like the and again, I do understand that it is like COVID is not the same as the flu, and that is not the statement being made. Mm-hmm. However, the concept of these things don't always go away. They just become managed. Mm-hmm. And I think that part is what more people need to keep in mind. Mm-hmm. That I'm like, it's not clearly with new variants. Clearly, it's not going to go, but we need to get it to where it's manageable. So like, you start bringing everybody back, you're going to see a spike. That is obvious. Mm-hmm. It's the same when it's like cold and flu season. You have all these bodies together, you're going to see higher numbers versus like last year where there's like, well, kids aren't really getting sick. Well, they not up under each other. Like they be up in each other's face all the time.
Right.
So it's like, some stuff is like, okay, we want to be able to do everything we can to have things in place where we, like Daryl was saying, like to prevent and to like really like as soon as we see something, be able to jump on it.
Exactly, which I feel like most people have been good at doing. Like you said, schools had a plan.
Yeah.
And the only way to know is to try.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Because let me tell you, these kids up in this house, they going back. They going to be in somebody's classroom. They will have a mask on. Don't take your mask off. Don't be up in somebody's face.
Right. Well, I just feel like the minute you make it an option, somebody is going to say, "I don't want my kid to ever go back," and then you're slowly having to accommodate for that. If you just say we're all coming back, what choice do you have but to come back?
Because PG has that the virtual school.
So does Anne Arundel. I was about to say that. Yep, that's an option.
Yeah, and I'm like,
that's a state. That was a state mandate. From the governor, is that he said that you had to, every district had to offer a virtual school for next year for those that didn't want to come back. But that's also a government mandate that we would come back 5 days a week. So that's why I'm just like, why are we sitting here
twiddling thumbs?
Like, like you're stopping wheels from turning, and then when we come back, you're gonna be like, all right, we want everything to be this, we want everything to be that. What time? How much? Like, you didn't give me much time. How am I gonna do that? What kind of guidance have you given me in the last weeks,
months,
years?
Right. These folks are supposed to be making these decisions, which I've been doing. Y'all 12-month contracts.
Say that part. Say that part. I was like, but you're still on the clock.
You're still on the clock. Still on the clock.
It's a mess.
It is, but I'm hoping, of which, to be fair, I will say, Bowie does seem to be implementing things. So I'd be talking crazy, but also I do appreciate some of the stuff I've seen. I appreciate that over the summer, they gave the option of if we wanted to come back. A lot of people, I think, chose not to.
Of course.
Because it was a ghost town. But the option was there. And that was kind of the effort to start easing people back in and getting back used to being together and like how they're going to do the masks, of which I think, from what I've been told, I haven't seen like in writing.
Yeah.
People just be giving me information. First of all, I'm gonna not be shady right now. I'm gonna circle that back. All right. So I know in the building, you have to have your mask on. And then, but if you're just like walking around outside, then you can have them off.
Right.
Which I'm like, okay, well, I bought me some masks too. I got me a bunch of the disposable ones. I don't like the disposable ones usually, but I know I can breathe better in them. And so I bought a bunch of black ones because it just looks fashionable to me. I was like, at least let me enjoy this look. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready. I'm going to suck it up. We're going to be dancing and moving about with these masks, and it's going to be what it is. And that's fine. Because I think, well, in theory, I have 3 courses. We're going to see about this third one because people didn't do things. I'm editing myself. I be trying sometimes. I be trying.
Always other people.
I be trying, but I'm just like, yo, was you not gonna put that up there? Because I need you to kind of put that up there so somebody can sign up. Thanks.
Yeah.
I got bills to pay. Please and thank you. So in theory, I have a movement, a lecture, and a combo class that's movement and lecture.
Nice.
So I would love to teach all 3. So I'm hoping for the best here. But I for sure have the movement and the lecture. For sure. Those are definite. It's the combo one that's up in the air currently. And I'm like, y'all gonna handle that? Because y'all never told me how to handle it. So I just be hoping y'all got it. But it's looking good.
You.
Look, I be trying. I'm like, y'all, I'm trying to like pump y'all up and like hype you up to like these counties because it still blows my mind. This is messy. I don't care. Shit, I'm tired. But it's like, yo, y'all just ain't gonna recruit, huh? Y'all just ain't.
Yeah.
Like outside of athletics, I was like, y'all not trying hard enough.
Yeah, Bowie needs to come to Anne Arundel.
Yo, I'm gonna be all up in people's faces in buildings because I'm like, y'all stupid for not being up in here because I don't understand.
Maybe not Southern specifically, but I mean, they need to come to Anne Arundel.
Like, I think because to me, even if I'm going to a location where it's not likely I'm going to really pull a lot, I still think it's important to have the presence. Particularly, specifically talking about dance at the university. Don't nobody know it's there. That is always the question I get. Because they're like, oh, what are you teaching? I'm like, dance. Like, what do you mean? What am I teaching? Do you want to know the specific courses? Dance history, jazz? Is that what you mean? There's like, there's dance there. I'm like, well, first of all I'm certified to teach is dance. Do
you know me?
My degrees are only in that. Like, yes, I have been in band like a huge chunk of my life. I can still read music. I can still play. However, all the degrees are in dance. So that's all I teach. They're like, oh, I didn't know that was there. And I'm like, I'm aware. I'm like, nobody knows. And I'm like, I would like to remedy that situation. That even if someone is like, okay, well, I'm not going there, but maybe you'll come see a show.
Right. You'll tell a friend.
Exactly. So I'm just like, and especially at this stage, I'm like, I just need all the publicity.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm going to be talking to everybody. So when I say I'm going to be hitting y'all, I'm legit. I'm trying to work some things out.
Yeah.
Do it.
Just coming in, knocking tables over. I'm like, I think we should do this. And I'm determined because there's a few things that I'm just like, this needs to be happening. Let's do this. And if no one wants to do it, I'll gladly, because I'm good at it. Please. I don't mind. In fact, please let me.
Please do it.
I'll show you. Like, it'll be great. You'll be like, oh my gosh, really? I'm like, yes, I know. I know it's amazing, right?
Do it all.
I got it. But I'm excited for the things. Absolutely. And to tie it back, because we be doing this all the time, Daryl. I was like, let's tie this back.
We do.
To come full circle. I think, and again, to your point that you made earlier, Ariana, that I think I can speak for all 3 of us in the sense of going into this next year. Daryl and I are returning to places that we've been. Daryl's been there for years. This is my 2nd semester, and you going into this new awesome blessing of a location
Mhm.
that we strive to not be the type of messy you described. I can't fathom talking to any of my students like that.
Right.
Like, even if I am talking to students who look like me, those are just things that I was like,
there's boundaries
yes.
there, and like I've already been told for like whatever reason, because I'm sure there's an underlying reason, that I just need to be mindful of what I'm saying to students, what I'm saying to other staff members, how I will adjust to the climate. So I'm confused. Like, I'm coming in a headspace. Like, I'm like you. I'm ready to knock tables over and, bust down doors. But why am I getting all these assumptions and things thrown on me already? Like, I'm not messy. I'm not going to be messy because I've seen what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's not me. I'm here to teach a step or two and tell you how it'll benefit you in your everyday life, in social studies, in whatever you want to do when you walk out these doors. Like, messy is not my thing, because I have boundaries. I'm a professional.
Right.
Everyone's not.
Like, everybody's not.
Like, don't you love when you come into the already in place assumptions? It's like, could you let me mess up first? Let me do it. And then be like, okay, so look, we gonna need you to not do X, Y, Z.
It has already happened to me. Already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you. Thank you for the faith in me.
Right? Thank you. I have been grateful that didn't happen going into the university. 100% happened at the last high school. I came with a warning label and I was like, wow, well, first, and that was the sentence verbatim. Like, you came with a warning label. And I was like, that's rude. And I was like, that's quite messed up. But I'm like, what I do?
Well, since you said that and we circled back, mine was that the kids won't be put first. See, I'm a teacher. Who else is gonna be put first? I'm confused. How can I be selfish with this and make it about me?
Wait, who's saying this? The administration?
Not my administration, but just some people that I'll be working close with.
So
it's not my principal, it's not my AP. It's not.
If you can't say, it's fine. But is it the assumption that you would be trying to position yourself in such a way that you are the spotlight?
Probably.
What have you ever done that would lead to that assumption? Because I can't think of anything. And I've known you for a few years and I can't recall anything where I'm like, okay,
I literally can't tell you. I guess because I've never left the community. Like, if you think of maybe like my school, you think of me. But again, that is all because of what I owe that school. Yeah. If it wasn't for that school, there would be no me. Of course, that's going to be like top of my list and where I am when I'm not doing X, Y, Z. But this is I'm just as out of shape and tossed and not doing what these kids are doing. So why would I take that's not what I'm here to do. This is not about me.
And that did we just talk about that, Daryl? We've talked about that recently. Was that what we just talked about last week?
Yeah, I think
or the week before. Sometime in recent history.
Fairly recently, yeah.
That idea of, because there are those who they will come in and it's like, oh, because I want the name, I want the recognition, I want you to tell me how great of a job I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah, I compliments. I'm not, most people do, but also priority one, are my kids good? Like, do they have what they need? Like,
are they learning? Are they
like, do they know what they need to know? Am I providing them opportunities?
Right.
Like, I was like,
Like,
oh, I'm sorry, that's not everyone's priority.
Right. I feel like we're in a profession though that like we're only as good as what the students that we teach, and not saying that our students need to come to us great, but when they leave our programs and they go off to college, like how they function, right? And like that is a testament, that would then be a testament to whether or not my effectiveness as a teacher. But while they are in the building in front of me in class, like it's not about me, it's all about them. It's all about, like you said, do they have opportunities? You know, are they progressing? Are they enjoying it? You know, and then from there, we won't see that for another a year or two after they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that.
So, if that,
shoot,
right?
Because man, like I be a real good one. And yeah, because we definitely spoke about this. I don't know if we recorded that. That might have been an offline conversation. Real talk. Because we was dropping names, like wholehearted names that I still work with. So I'm like, that may not have gotten recorded. That's fine. But it's like that idea of, y'all really think I'm about to get famous off of teaching at this high school? I ain't. Let me tell you what's not about to happen. That ain't gonna happen. I was like, and even on the collegiate level, no, I don't see that being a thing. Like anytime I think of like really awesome dance performances that I've seen from universities, I'm not gonna say programs because it's not enough of them for me to say that I've seen a lot of awesome ones. So I'm just gonna say performances, just gonna put that out there. It never, to me, like I might say, oh my God, who choreographed this? What? But it's always about the dancers. Like I ain't pressed about your instructor unless I'm like, wow, that is a skill that I've been trying to teach people how to do. Yeah. Let me ask them what they did to help their students get that so I can take that back and help mine. But I'm like, if I'm trying to get rich and famous off of anything, what it won't be is teaching.
It's not gonna be this.
It won't be this. And I just really need people to understand that I'm like, I do this because I love it. That is the sole reason I teach. I genuinely love it. It ain't for the money, y'all.
Please.
It ain't. Not with all the bills I still need to pay. It's not.
It's not for the money as I sit in my father's house. It is not for the fame as I am still just little old me in South County with less followers than you think. And I don't care. It's like you said, all my degrees are in dance. All my certifications are in dance. What else am I supposed to do? Like this is what was made for me. Nothing else was supposed to be, okay, this is what she's going to do. I have always wanted to do this. I have always wanted to do it in this place. It has always been about what I am going to give you. I can only show you the door. I can't open it for you.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. And I think there's a misunderstanding when hearing, because how you said it is exactly how I would. And that level of confidence that it's like, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, no. And I'm like, and I will always tell people, I was like, oh, I'm an excellent teacher. I'm fucking great at this thing.
I am.
Like, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I was like, there's a difference between me knowing what I'm supposed to be doing and me being confident in that skill against me trying to put myself out there and be the one that's known for this in the sense of I want all the attention. I'm like, those are, because you know what? Not gonna be that messy today because I still work with people, but Daryl knows who this person is. if I am really having to always try to convince people of why I should be seen as great, not as a great educator, not that, but just me. I'm great. Mm-hmm. Chances are I may not be. Mm-hmm. When I tell people I'm a great educator, I don't then go on to list my personal accomplishments. People who know me actually know that I don't list my personal accomplishments. I usually play them down because I'm like, to me, they're not a big deal. Like me saying that, yes, I have taught classes in a temple in Japan. I can hear myself say it and be like, I can see how somebody be like, sis, what did you just say? And I'm like, yeah, but also to me, not saying that I didn't appreciate that experience and that like, I know that's everyone doesn't get a chance to do that. But also I'm like, well, it's not that big of a deal because I'm not the center. But my favorite thing about it is like when you see the pictures and like the smiles on their faces and like they were having like a great time in class, that I was like, yay, I did that. That was fun. I was like, because my focus is always them. My focus is always my students. And because I can see them progress, that's how I know I'm an excellent educator. That's how I know that. It's not because, oh, I went to this school, I have these degrees, I know these people. Because you know what? I did go to those schools. I have those degrees. I do know all these people. And that ain't got shit to do with me being an excellent educator at all. My kids come first.
Yes.
It does not matter. And even when I'm sick of them, they still come first. I will always do the job.
Right.
Even when I'm sick of your shit. Testament was that last semester teaching that I'm like, now, was I a bitch about it? Yes, I don't care. I freely admit that I showed my whole ass. Actually, I didn't show the whole. I just showed half of it. Because I'm like, I ain't gotta like you. I ain't gotta like you, but I love what I do.
I love what I do.
And I will do my job. Now, am I going to be asking you how your day was? Not the fuck at all, because I don't care no more. Like you wanted to catch a bridge on fire, burn that bitch down. Barren land, you cannot rebuild over here. We're done. But you will never be able to say that I didn't teach. You won't be able to say that. I was like, because even if, and this is something parents don't always get, which I think is why one of the reasons my kids' teachers appreciate me understanding it is I don't have to like you to teach you properly.
No.
That's not a requirement. I don't like most people's kids. It is what it is. It's like some of y'all raised assholes. It's just like
people.
How about that? So it's just like, I don't care for you as a person. However, I'm here to teach this. And if you have questions, ask me the questions. Now, I might give you the side eye if you keep asking questions about stuff that I just said. I am that person. I do think there is such a thing as a stupid question. I really do. Yes, still ask the question because I do want you to be clear. But also, I'm going to need you to know that I think it's stupid, so I'm going to be looking at you sideways.
Right.
But I'm like, ask. If you need me to show it again, I'll show it again. If you need me to pair you off with somebody, I'll pair you off with somebody. If you need recommendations on videos that you can check out, I'll try to point you there. If I don't know the answer, I'll contact one of my friends. Like, I love what I do. It's like, this thing is enjoyable, even though it is stressful as all get out. It is still the stress that I signed up for.
Yes. I knew that's what I wanted.
Yes. And so I think that may be part of their misconception of you. I think that's part of them. They just need, that was about to be I'm going to say, I don't care. They need to suck a dick and die. I don't care. Like, cause y'all, just because somebody else can operate in their gift and you may not be, does not mean you should be mad at them for that.
I need you to just say that like one more time, just like really loud though, because I don't think them in the back heard.
Like them people all the way back there?
Like they're all the way in the back.
Because like, real talk though, like just because I can watch you operate in your gift and I may not be, does not mean I should be mad at you. Like, why can't I celebrate you while figuring out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing? Because that's what you should do first. Mind the business that pays you. And if you're that miserable doing it, maybe don't be doing it. Maybe not. If that's not your calling, if that's not your testimony, then figure out what you're going to do. I'm not saying everybody should just up and quit their job, but have you an exit strategy. Have a plan. Figure out what it is you need to be doing, what it is you want, and then make your plan, take your steps. But in the process of doing that, what you mad at them for because they already figured theirs out.
Right.
It's the same in like math. Like, yeah, I could have been mad at the kid who was like fucking excellent at it because me and the math are not friends. But I could also just be like, hey, yo, you got an A. Could you help me? Tutor me, please.
Yes.
Give me an answer. If you got to just write the answers on my hand, you ain't gotta give me all of them. We got to keep it consistent, make it look real. But like, why am I mad at you? Because there's going to be something that I have that you don't. And I sure as hell don't want you mad at me. Like, it's just because I figured this part out.
Yep.
And you can ask for help. Like, that's always a thing. That's always an option.
And it's just like, don't assume, like, even if you're not going to ask for help, like, you can look at me and think that it's one thing, but it's probably something completely different. But because you saw and then went and talked to somebody else, now you got it all jacked up and you got all these other people thinking the wrong thing.
Yes.
So now I'm coming in with a chip and don't want to talk to you, don't want to see you, but still gonna keep it professional and handle my business.
Right. That's why they say don't assume.
Don't.
So like, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know. Like, you just don't know.
You don't know.
And especially like the people who are able to like have the things, a lot of times it's like, but do you know what they went through to get to it? Not all of us were handed. Like, not all of us came up where money was not an object. Like, we could just have whatever. Mommy and daddy could buy us whatever we wanted, or they could buy our way into or out of things. Not all of us. I was like, so sometimes like, yeah, like it looks good because it's like, oh, I'm here. Yes, I'm about to live this. But do you know what happened before I got there?
Right.
Don't assume. Because even just taking the messy situation in college, do they understand the impact that has on you as a dance artist, as that had on you as an educator, as that has had on you as a Black woman? Like, do y'all understand what I went through to get the degree? The things that I had to brush off, the things I had to push aside to be able to step into this role. Like, don't assume you know. Just say, hey, welcome. And mind the business that pays you. Over there.
Worry about yourself.
Like, worry about yourself. But please and thank you. Yes. Oh, yes, this was a good one. See, I told you it was going to be fine, sis.
Yeah.
I just had like a couple other things pop up, but I'm like, we could say that for another time.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
come on, part 2.
Yes.
I think I tried to, I don't know, is it like repress or regress? Just put those things away. But now that I talked about one, I'm like, ooh, they popping up. So schedule me for part 2 because it's you can't. Trauma.
Because that's what it is, though.
Very much so. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Trauma.
Yeah. That could be the title.
Yes. Yes. For real though. Because that's a real thing. It legit really is trauma.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us yet again. We are 100% scheduling our part 2 with you.
Yes.
That's happening because we do need to talk about that because that is an aspect of this. But thank you all for joining us here yet again at Dance Talk Realness. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe. Leave us a comment, any questions, anything you want us to cover, anyone you want us to bring back, or questions that you have for our guests. Be sure to drop us a line. And we look forward to bringing you some fresh new content next week. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.